Welcome to Maverick's Cove, where conversations dive deep into the provocative, the fancy, the quirky, and capricious. Today's new release of Season 1, Episode 1, freshly crafted for you. Our new topic, DENIM Revolution. Recycling and upcycling for a sustainable fashion future, where we explore every angle. Featuring your host and author, Captain JayR, with our speakers, Robert and Joana. Buckle in as we dive deep into the minds of today's Mavericks.
All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are going deep into the world of denim.
Denim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the jeans you're probably wearing right now, or at least have somewhere in your closet.
Right.
We're going way beyond just fashion here, though, right?
Right.
We really want to understand, and you wanted to understand, the real impact of denim from the cotton fields all the way to the future of sustainability.
Yeah, and you came to the right place.
Absolutely.
We have a ton of sources here, reports on the industry's footprint, articles spotlighting innovative companies, even some pretty technical deep dives into how denim can be recycled.
Yeah, and it's really fascinating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So think about your favorite pair of jeans just for a second.
Yeah.
What's their story? I bet you're picturing like the wear and tear, the fades, that perfect fit.
Right?
But have you ever thought about the journey that those jeans took to get to you?
Yeah. That's what we're unpacking here.
Yeah.
It's a story that involves agriculture, global economics, even some serious environmental challenges.
Yeah, and let's be honest, sometimes it's a little uncomfortable to think about the impact of our clothes.
Sure.
But one of the articles we have lays it out pretty starkly.
Yeah.
It takes a whopping 3,781 liters of water
Wow.
to make just one pair of Levi's 501s.
Really?
That's like filling up your bathtub almost 20 times.
It's wild.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about the sheer amount of water used.
Right.
The dyeing and finishing processes for denim are notorious for polluting waterways.
Yeah, they are.
One of our sources even brought up communities in Bangladesh struggling with rivers that have literally turned blue
Wow.
from denim dye runoff.
That's awful.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder that the clothes we wear have a real impact on people and the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get too doom and gloom, let's talk about some solutions.
Okay, yeah.
That's where recycled denim comes in, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, we're seeing a real shift towards more circular approaches.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the old take, make, dispose model, companies are starting to think about how to keep denim in the loop.
Yeah.
One of the articles we have profiles a company in Guatemala called the New Denim Project.
No.
They're taking pre-consumer denim waste, think scraps from factories,
Got it.
and turning it into totally new fabrics
Okay.
with this cool speckled look.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I love that they're giving those scraps a second life and creating something unique.
Yeah.
And speaking of unique, there are two main ways to recycle denim, right?
Yeah.
Mechanical and chemical.
Right. Mechanical recycling is like physically breaking down the fabric, shredding, grinding, that sort of thing,
Okay.
to create new fibers. And chemical recycling uses solvents to dissolve the denim back to its building blocks.
So they both have their pros and cons.
They do, and we'll dive deeper into those later.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
One of our sources pointed out that recycled denim fabric can cost about 12.5% more than virgin denim.
Mm.
So it makes you think, are we willing to pitch a bit extra for a more sustainable choice?
That's a question a lot of people are grappling with. It's a balancing act between making sustainable options accessible while also acknowledging the true cost of, cheap fashion.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think there's a lot of room for optimism here.
Yeah.
The innovations happening in this space are mind-blowing.
Oh, totally. One of the articles talked about a company called Hyosung that's making bio-based elastane from renewable resources.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, it can reduce the carbon footprint of denim by a significant amount, like 20%.
That's amazing.
I know. It's amazing what's possible with new technologies.
It is.
And it's not just about the materials themselves.
Right.
It's about creative applications, too.
Yes.
C&A, a European clothing retailer, is using recycled denim byproducts to make flooring for their new stores.
Really?
That's such a cool way to close the loop.
It is.
And then there's G-Star Raw.
Uh-huh.
They have this Raw for the Oceans project where they collect plastic waste from the ocean and turn it into recycled denim.
That's so cool.
It's like turning trash into treasure. It really makes you wonder what else is possible.
It does.
These examples show that we're starting to shift towards a circular economy for denim.
Yeah.
And it's not just about big brands.
Right.
Smaller companies are getting in on the action too.
Yeah.
MUD Jeans, for example,
Yeah.
has a leasing model for their denim.
Oh, interesting.
You lease the jeans instead of buying them outright,
Okay.
and then you return them to be recycled into new jeans.
Wow, that's a whole new way of thinking about fashion.
And there's another company, RenewCell, creating circulose fabric from used cotton.
Oh.
They've partnered with huge names like H&M and Levi's.
Mhm.
So it feels like this could really go mainstream.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's pretty exciting stuff.
It
It's
is.
definitely a hopeful sign that the future of denim can be much more sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just about technology, right?
Yeah.
There's still the challenge of mixed fibers, like those cotton and polyester blends,
Right.
which can be tricky to recycle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm curious to learn more about how those different recycling methods actually work and what the challenges are.
Yeah,
I bet our listener is too.
probably.
But before we get into the nitty-gritty of recycling, what are your thoughts on where all this is headed? Do you think we're on the verge of a real denim revolution?
I think we're definitely at a turning point.
Okay.
The awareness is there, the innovations are happening, and consumers are starting to demand better from the industry.
That's encouraging to hear. Okay, let's dig into those recycling methods a bit more.
Okay.
You mentioned mechanical and chemical recycling.
Yeah.
What are the key differences between them?
Well, imagine you have a pile of old jeans ready to be recycled.
Okay.
With mechanical recycling, you're basically breaking down the fabric physically.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it like shredding those jeans into tiny pieces, almost like creating a denim confetti.
So it's like physically separating the fiber.
Exactly. Those separated fibers are then spun into new yarn, which can be used to create new denim fabric. It's a pretty straightforward process, but it does have limitations.
Okay.
For one, the quality of the recycled fibers can vary depending on how the denim was originally made and how worn out it is.
And I'm guessing those blends we talked about earlier, like cotton and polyester, can make things tricky.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Separating different types of fibers during mechanical recycling can be a real headache.
I bet.
It often leads to a lower quality recycled material,
Okay.
but chemical recycling takes a different approach.
Okay.
Instead of physically tearing the fabric apart, it uses solvents to dissolve the denim fibers back to their basic building blocks.
So it's like breaking down the denim at a molecular level.
Exactly. This allows for a much purer form of recycled material, even from those tricky blends.
Wow.
One of our sources highlighted a study in Lithuania
Yeah.
where researchers achieved a 96% recycling rate
Wow.
using a multi-stage chemical process to separate cotton and polyester from denim blends.
Wow. That's impressive. It sounds like chemical recycling could be a real game changer, especially with more and more clothes being made from mixed fibers.
It definitely has potential.
Yeah.
But of course, there are challenges too.
Okay.
The solvents used can be expensive, and the process requires specialized equipment and expertise.
I see.
It's not as widely available or affordable as mechanical recycling yet.
Well, it sounds like both methods have a role to play in moving towards a more circular denim industry.
Yeah, for sure.
But what happens to all those recycled fibers? What can we actually make with them?
The possibilities are expanding all the time.
Okay.
Of course, the most obvious use is making new jeans.
Right.
And many brands are now incorporating recycled denim into their collections. And not just basic jeans either, right? I've seen some amazing designs that really showcase the unique character and texture of recycled denim.
It's proof that sustainable fashion doesn't have to be boring.
Exactly.
But recycled denim is finding its way into all sorts of other products too.
Yeah.
Think home furnishings,
Yeah.
industrial textiles, even insulation. One of our sources mentioned a company called Curage that uses recycled denim to create upholstery fabric.
Wow.
So your old jeans could have a second life as a stylish sofa.
That's a fantastic idea.
And remember, C&A, the retailer, using recycled denim byproducts for flooring.
Yeah.
It really feels like we're starting to see the circular economy in action.
Exactly. And it's not just about big companies.
Sure.
The DIY and upcycling movements are gaining traction too.
Cool.
There are tons of resources online showing how to turn old jeans into everything from tote bags to rugs.
Oh, wow.
It's a great way to get creative and give those well-loved jeans a new purpose.
I love that. It's a reminder that we can all play a part in making fashion more sustainable. But let's zoom out for a second.
Okay.
What are some of the bigger initiatives and organizations working to promote denim recycling and raise awareness about its impact?
There are some fantastic programs out there. One that stands out is the Blue Jeans Go Green Denim Recycling Program.
Okay.
They collect used denim and transform it into insulation for homes and buildings. Wow.
They even have a partnership with Zappos for Good, which lets people mail in their old denim for free.
That's awesome.
It's making it super easy for anyone to participate.
That's a great way to remove barriers for consumers. But what about reducing the environmental impact of denim production in the first place?
Yeah.
Are there companies working on making the manufacturing process itself more sustainable?
Absolutely. One company that's doing some really innovative work is Genealogia, based in Spain.
Okay.
They've developed a range of technologies to make denim production more eco-friendly.
That's great.
One of their most interesting innovations is ozone washing,
Oh, yeah.
which uses ozone gas instead of water to create those faded effects on denim.
That's amazing. I read that ozone washing can drastically reduce water consumption and eliminate the need for harsh chemicals.
It can.
It sounds like a win-win for the environment and the final product.
Exactly. They also offer laser finishing technologies that can create unique designs and textures on denim with minimal environmental impact. So it seems like there are solutions emerging at every stage of the denim life cycle, from production to recycling and even upcycling.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest challenges that still need to be addressed, in your opinion?
One of the major hurdles is the lack of standardized systems for collecting and sorting post-consumer denim waste.
Okay.
We need better infrastructure to make sure those old jeans are actually getting recycled and not ending up in landfills.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a logistical challenge.
It is.
And one of our sources emphasized the importance of consumer education.
Right.
People need to know how to properly dispose of their old denim so it can actually be recycled.
Absolutely. We need to shift our mindset from seeing clothing as disposable to understanding its value as a resource.
Yeah.
And that involves making informed choices about the brands we support and knowing where to take our old clothes when we're done with them.
It's about recognizing that we're all part of this system. But what about the economics of it all? Is it financially viable for companies to invest in these more sustainable practices?
That's a key question.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the answer isn't always clear-cut.
Okay.
Recycled denim can be more expensive to produce than virgin denim, which can make it tough for brands to compete on price.
Right. I remember one source mentioning a pilot project by G-Star Raw and Recover
Yeah.
that found recycled denim fabric had a 12.5% price premium compared to virgin denim.
Wow.
But it also emphasized the positive environmental impact, even with a small percentage of recycled content.
Exactly. And that's a crucial point.
Yeah.
Even if there's a slightly higher cost up front, the long-term benefits for the environment and for society as a whole can far outweigh the initial investment.
It's about thinking beyond the price tag and considering the true cost of our choices. And perhaps government policies and incentives could play a role in leveling the playing field and making sustainable denim more accessible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Government regulations can create a more supportive environment for denim recycling by encouraging these practices and setting clear standards. It's about creating a system that rewards sustainability.
It's clear that a lot of factors are shaping the future of denim.
Yeah.
But what I find really encouraging is the sheer amount of ingenuity and dedication coming from the people and companies working to make this industry more sustainable. It feels like there's real momentum building.
I agree. The innovations we're seeing, from advanced recycling technologies to bio-based materials, are truly remarkable.
Yeah.
And the growing demand for ethical and eco-conscious fashion is a powerful force for change.
It feels like we're on the verge of a real transformation in the fashion industry.
Yeah,
And denim is leading the way.
I think so.
It's inspiring to see these positive changes happening.
It is. And it's not just the big players.
Right.
Smaller brands and startups are pushing the boundaries too, often with a strong focus on ethical production and social responsibility.
One of the sources we have profiles a brand called Outland Denim, which prioritizes fair wages and safe working conditions for its employees. They're making a real difference in the lives of their workers, many of whom are survivors of human trafficking and exploitation.
That's wonderful.
That's a perfect example of how sustainability isn't just about environmental impact. It's also about social justice and creating a more equitable fashion industry.
Absolutely.
Every purchase we make has the power to support businesses that align with our values. So, as we start wrapping up our deep dives into the world of denim, what are some key takeaways you'd like our listener to remember?
It really highlights the interconnectedness of everything, doesn't it?
It does.
The choices we make as consumers have ripple effects throughout the entire supply chain.
Exactly. It all comes back to that idea of conscious consumerism,
Yeah.
being aware of where our clothes come from, how they're made, and what happens to them at the end of their life.
Right. So as we start wrapping up our deep dive into the world of denim, what are some key takeaways you'd like our listener to remember?
It really highlights the interconnectedness of everything, doesn't it? The choices we make as consumers have ripple effects throughout the entire supply chain.
Exactly. It all comes back to that idea of conscious consumerism, being aware of where our clothes come from, how they're made, and what happens to them at the end of their life.
So as we wrap up this denim deep dive, what are some of the most important things you'd like our listener to walk away with?
Well, first and foremost, remember that denim production, as it's traditionally been done, has a huge impact on the planet. The water usage, pollution, and waste are just not sustainable in the long run.
Right, but we've also seen that there's a ton of innovation happening to make the industry more sustainable and ethical.
Absolutely. We've talked about everything from new recycling technologies and bio-based materials to companies changing their business models to be more circular. There's a real shift happening.
And it's not just up to the industry to make these changes, right? Consumers have a big role to play too.
Definitely. By making informed choices, supporting brands that are doing things right, and even just knowing how to properly dispose of old denim, we can all be part of the solution.
So, to leave our listener with one final thought to chew on, what's something you'd like them to do differently after listening to this deep dive?
I'd encourage our listener to take a look at their own denim habits. Think about where your jeans come from, how they were made, and what will happen to them when you're done with them.
Those are some great questions to ask ourselves. I think it all comes down to awareness and making more conscious choices.
Exactly. Even small changes can make a big difference when we all do them together.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our denim adventure. I hope you've enjoyed learning about the impact, the innovations, and the future of this iconic fabric.
It's been a fascinating journey. And remember, the learning doesn't have to stop here. We encourage you to check out the sources we mentioned and continue exploring the world of sustainable denim.
There's always more to discover. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you found your inner peace with our podcast. Keep yourself updated and join us on our next episode. Stay safe and healthy, and have a good day. See you soon.